Looks like everybody's
Yeah, do
trickling in.
you see the attendee list just popping up? It is over 40. Here it rolls. Hello, everyone, as you're coming in. Very nice. And just a reminder, as you're joining the webinar, you are automatically muted. We are recording this today for you. So welcome to all of you as you get situated with our webinar. We're excited. We have a lot of info today. I feel like we always do. So.
It's hard to trim it down to an hour sometimes. We could go on and on.
Yes, we could. But we won't do that. We'll keep to our hour, maybe even give you back a few minutes. Who knows? Could happen. Depends on the question. All right. Oh, I'm getting right up to the half hour too. We'll start here in just another minute or two. We'll let a few more individuals pop into the room. We, believe it or not, had over 200 folks register for this, so that's a huge number. That's fabulous. I think they all want the free images that we're giving away. So
yeah.
but now they're really here to see us, right?
I would hope so.
Yeah, that's gonna be it. Okay. As you're coming into, you should see a question and answer box for you. It isn't, everyone can't see each other's questions at this time. I think as we respond to questions, they pop in, is my understanding. We are using a new tool with the webinar tool here. So if someone wants to just drop a question in or a hi or hello, so we can see it pop into our box, that would be fabulous. Someone raised their hand. Let's see here. Hey, Jacob.
Awesome. Hi, Shirley.
See your highs. Diana, Shirley, hello. And we've got several hand raised. Hopefully those are like highs on the hand raised and not like I have a question. Awesome. Hi, everyone. And you can pull your hand down, I believe, when you're done with your hi. It also allows us just to know that you've got something going on out there. Great thing to do is go ahead and use the questions. We were asked how long we think this will be. Webinar after this one. Yeah, I know, meeting. We have this planned to be about an hour. Might be a little shy of that, but fairly close to an hour time frame, I would say. We won't go over an hour. We'll do our best.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, I think we got a joke. Did you see that one, Jordan?
I see it. What color?
What color was George Washington's white horse?
Is it a trick question?
I don't know. There's
right.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. Curious the answer, Patty. This is yours whenever you're ready to get started.
Okay. All right. Well, let's just go ahead and dive in here. Welcome everybody to our webinar this month. We are focusing on tips and best practices for end of year giving as we start to approach that season. Now is a great time to start taking a look at all of those donation and contribution pages and just making sure they're set up for success to carry us through the end of the year. So welcome. Thanks for joining. Today, Allison, your presenters, I should say, is myself. I'm Jordan. I'm the Director of Operations here at One Each. I'm also an account manager, so I may be a familiar face to some of you. We also have Allison, who is our VP of Customer Success and an account manager here as well, so she should be a familiar face to a lot of you as well. And then we have a special guest, which is Tony, our CEO and founder, and he is here to give a little teaser on a new product we have called Mindful Giving, which we'll get to in just a minute, but we'll be your presenters today for this webinar. Our agenda for today is a quick Mindful Giving introduction. Then we're going to dive into ways to prepare for your end of year fundraising. We're going to talk about your donation pages. I've got a few great ones that I want to show off to show you some of the different options out there when it comes to end of year giving. We'll talk about processor options, all the different payment processors, your home page as well. Taking a look at that in desktop and in mobile. And then we have some new updates on all of our customers that are using the text to give options out there. So just some new information about text to give. And then lastly, we'll have a space for questions as well. All right, so Tony, I am going to go ahead and pass this off to you for our mindful giving introduction.
Thank you very much, Jordan. Yeah, thank you everybody for attending today. I just wanted to let everybody know we now have available a new giving platform, and we are calling that Mindful Giving. It's a collaboration that we have with Amazon Business that we are a partner with, and something we've been working on for the last year or so with them. We've gotten a lot of feedback over the years from customers that are having some challenges, sometimes in their donation platforms, engaging with the Millennial and Gen Z group. And we think that mindful giving is going to help you more easily engage with those donors. So we're excited to give you more information on that. If you are currently using Amazon wishlists, you are definitely want to hear more about mindful giving. This is kind of what we call sort of a version 2.0 of Amazon wishlists, and this will help you engage more and again that donor base. We're scheduling a couple of webinars in the very near future that's going to go over more details of mindful giving, provide a demo. So as you get that information emailed to you, be sure and sign up to learn more on this new platform. However, if you can't wait, please get in touch with your account manager and they can provide you more details much more quickly and right away. So with that, I know it's not much information today, but again, it's something we're very, very excited about implementing, and we believe it's going to increase your donations, especially to those groups. So thank you for joining today, and I certainly appreciate all of you as a One Each customer. So back to you, Jordan.
Awesome. Thank you, Tony. All right. So I am going to dive into a couple donation pages that I pulled from a few different types of customers that we have. So I've got a couple YMCA pages, some Unity pages, Meals on Wheels, and a United Way. So I tried to cover all of our customer base. All of these pages are set up a little bit differently, but I just wanted to showcase what all the options are, because sometimes it's nice not to have to recreate the wheel and kind of see what others are doing and use those ideas as you're looking at your own donation pages. So I'm going to exit out of here for just a second and pull up the first page. And hopefully you're still seeing my screen since I've exited slideshow. Wonderful. So the first sample, the first sample that I wanted to show today, this is United Way of Payne County. This is their donation page. They are actually using our new Stripe web form setup for their donation page, which is something you may have heard about recently as we've just launched it. But essentially, if you are using Stripe as your payment processor, your web forms actually have a Stripe element that we can pull directly onto that form. So it's a really great way to control the page styling a little bit more. So United Way of Payne County, they've got a couple of different options on here for one-time or recurring every quarter. You can select the amount. The user can enter their payment information directly onto the web form securely. And then you can add additional fields on here with these new Drupal 8 and Drupal 9 web forms. So they're collecting some donor information up here. They've got a few donation detail questions like, do we want to make the gift anonymous or not? Does it need to be combined with the partners? And then some designation fields down here. So I thought this was a great way to kind of capture all of that information in a more visually appealing page. So this is definitely an option if you are interested in Stripe web forms, and we'll have more information on that in a bit that you can always get with your account manager as well. All right. For our Meals on Wheels customers, I pulled two examples from Meals on Wheels. This is Meals on Wheels of Solano County. They are also using a Stripe web form as well. So they've just laid it out a little bit differently. They've got their donor information. They are specifying the type of donation that you're wanting to make. So if you do need to break things out into a memorial gift, or if you have a particular program that you're wanting donations to go into, this is a great way to lay that out. And then they've got their frequency, one time and recurring. If you are not using Stripe, another option may be to just create a nice looking landing page with a nice image on there. This is Meals on Wheels of Mercer County. They have a basic page up here, and they've added a nice graphic that really details out what the donor's dollar does, which I think is a nice way to engage with that donor. And then they have a donate button up here that links to their PayPal account. So just another way, instead of linking directly to PayPal, try and pull in some great images. You want to kind of engage with that donor and then lead them to make that donation. Additionally, another payment processor option. This is Give Lively, I believe. Yes. Give Lively, and this is just embedded directly into a page on this website for Meals on Wheels of Cheyenne. And I love Give Lively embed. I think it looks great. If you are looking for different payment processors, this is definitely one to look into. But what I love most is that they give you that embed code to bring that donation page directly into your website, which means donors do not have to leave your site in order to donate. They were able to put a custom image up here, get their logo featured, and put some more details on what the different amounts mean. For our users that are using Civi CRM, this is Unity of Gainesville. They have a Civi CRM contribution page set up that is then tied to PayPal. But what I really liked about this page is that they are utilizing those additional fields within Civi CRM to capture a designation, and then additional, if it's a meeting, which meeting are they wanting to make that donation to? So don't forget, if you are using Civi CRM, there are ways to adjust those profiles or those price sets to kind of break things out. So it's not just everything going into one general fund. I also really liked Unity of the Blue Ridges page. They created kind of a different ways to give page that has every single option that a user could imagine on this page. But I love how they set it up. It's a nice basic page. They added a nice header image up here at the top. And then using the columns page components, they created nice images that showcase all the different ways a donor may choose to give. So if it's a general ministry fund, if it's their annual support fund, they have their mail options. If you're mailing a check in here, they've even listed passive ways to collect income with their Amazon Smile account. And then they've got, a place for questions down below, which I thought was a really great way to showcase all the different ways that are possible. And they did link all of these images. So if you click on the image, it takes you right to that page to donate. All right, and the last two that I have are from some YMCA customers that we work with. This is Bloomington Normal YMCA. I just really loved this page. They had a great image up here at the top that talked about why to give. They followed it up with additional information on why it's important to give to these programs. And then what I loved is they broke out their programs specifically. So they have specific donation pages for different programs. They were able to put a nice image of that program and a description of what that program is to, again, just kind of show donors where their dollar goes if they do donate. So I thought this was a really great setup. Every time you click on the donate today, it brings you to a nice giving page. They are using Daxco. So this is just a Daxco embed that does their memberships and their payments. And the last example that I had was from Greater Green Bay YMCA. Again, it's a nice give landing page with a big banner at the top. And this page was kind of a great, gave us so much information, which I really loved. So it's got a nice video, a why to give to the why, text It also talks about the different ways to give. If you want to give online, if you want to call them directly to make a donation, it has information about their annual campaign. If you're wanting to purchase a banner, and then their donation image down here that's linked to their donation page. So I thought it was just a nice setup to kind of present a lot of information in a nice looking way that's readable and kind of gives the donor the ability to kind of click around and learn more about who they are as an organization as well. All right, so I did also want to cover over kind of how to prepare for this kind of end of year giving. So now that we've seen some examples, I just wanted to put some reminders out there that now is a great time to start reviewing your current donation pages. Take a look at what questions you're asking on there. Are you needing to adjust that? Do you need to add designation options in there? Are you capturing all the donor information fields that you need to, like phone number and email address? Another thing I always suggest is to take a look at your donation pages and on a cell phone and in a tablet. Look at it in multiple browser views to make sure that you are happy with how everything is laying out. And then the final big one is to test that donation page. Usually you get it set up, it's looking nice, but you want to make sure it's working as well. So it's always a great idea to just run a test transaction through there. And I would actually run a one-time and a recurring test transaction in there. If you're offering both of those options, you should be able to go in and refund that transaction within your payment processor. So you can just make sure that that is working properly. And then the last thing is just to figure out how to promote that on your website, which I know Allison will dive into a little bit more. But take a look at your homepage. If it's adding another banner right on the homepage, if it's maybe changing the color of a button or trying to add a button in a different area to really draw attention to that donation page and the end of your giving time. All right, I think I hit all of my talking points. Were there any questions, Allison? Did you get them all answered?
We did get them answered for the most part, and if there are any others coming in, go ahead and find the Q&A box on this webinar. So let me just address that though, because that's probably the biggest question I got. It's like, I don't see all the pictures of everyone and I'm not seeing the questions coming in the chat box. So just to clarify, and this is the first time for Jordan and I, so we're keeping our fingers crossed as we go. We're using Zoom webinar versus one of our Zoom meeting rooms. With so many individuals interested in this allows us, everyone as you come in, you're automatically muted. Yes, we are recording this. We're going to send this back out to everyone. It automatically started the recording for us at the beginning. We didn't even have to remember to hit record. So that was a good thing. But this is a different box. And Jordan's going to take over watching the questions come in on the Q&A. And I am going to take over running the screen and continuing on with this presentation. So here's another cool thing we're going to teach since we're doing webinars. This is a test too, folks. This is going to see if you're paying attention. I'm going to launch a poll here in just a second, as soon as I figure out how to share my screen. Yes, so.
Oh, here, I'll stop sharing so that you can share.
Oh yeah, that was happening anyway. Let's see, here we go. Okay, so I'm about to talk about processors, because there are options on processors, and I heard Give Lively, which is a third-party processor and all of that sort of stuff. So I want to ask you guys what you're doing. And where'd my poll go? There it is. My screen changed when I launched, but I'm still good. So hold your fingers crossed here. I just believe I launched a poll that should have popped up on your screen. Should ask you, oh, and people are clicking, so apparently that's correct. If you don't know what CiviCRM is, not every website has CiviCRM. If you've been with One Each for more than a couple of years, you probably do have a CiviCRM option. That is one of our platform tools that some folks use Stripe or PayPal or Authorize.net. Others are doing Stripe into a web form now, or you're using a third-party tool like that Give Lively or Donately or Harness, or any of those would be considered a third-party tool. They're not operated and run by One Each. Here's the thing about that though that's kind of interesting. It's like, as far as One Each Technologies goes, how do I say this nicely? We don't care what you use. That sounded rude, right? And by that, I mean, we don't have skin in the game. We are not taking any cut on any transaction you have on your site. So we want you to use what works best for you. Which processor is most cost effective for you, reaches your donors the best. Maybe it streamlines and it auto dumps into your software, which I think is fabulous. But I've had folks who've had that kind of tool before and they've said, hey, it auto dumps into my software, but our donations went down because everyone has to create an account and there's a barrier to entry and it's, you know, it's just not working that well. So you have to weigh these options on what processor, how am I, our goal to get donors to donate, to make it easy, right? So you guys have really been doing a great job answering. I'm going to go ahead and end this poll. I think like everyone responded. Let's see if we can share the results. Okay, so as far as online, is it sharing? Anybody? As far as online, as far as online donations go, we still have a lot who are utilizing our Civi CRM platform, and that's fine. That's great. Again, with any one of these options, you want to be testing your processor. Yes, sharing. Thank you. I will stop sharing it now. So in case you're wondering, you know, what should I use? As far as Civi CRM or using the Stripe web form, that's kind of a personal preference. I can tell you for those of you who are using Civi CRM right now, one of the reasons that we're seeing a shift from Civi CRM with Stripe, for example, to a web form with Stripe is that Civi CRM is not the most flexible platform and it won't allow us to calculate a processing fee. And people really like that calculated processing fee. And we do now have that ability with a Stripe web form to calculate a processing fee automatically through the web form tool that comes with your Drupal site. The other thing with the Civi CRM platform is it doesn't have conditionals. So if you're wanting to add certain questions and fields based on the answer to something, it doesn't let you do that. So there are reasons why we've seen a shift happening over time, but it's still fine. Do whatever works for you. So here's some numbers for you. We have a few folks out there still using PayPal and it kicks out to PayPal. Also a fine option. Some will have both Stripe and PayPal. That's fine too. PayPal though, anytime you leave and you go to a third-party tool that kind of pushes you to create an account, you will see an attrition rate. Folks drop off. They are leery of having to create an account to give you money. So think that through before you push a platform that kind of pushes people to create accounts. All right, that's a little bit on processors. Let's go look at some stuff here. I think, there we go. Nice. So Jordan showed you some forms. I'm going to go ahead and show you a web form that we have on our demo site that uses Stripe, and it's a donate form. And based on kind of samples of what folks have been doing, this is my version of what I think makes a pretty decent online web form for you to consider. And since it's on our demo site, that means we can clone a version of it to your site for free. This one's a little bit more involved though, because it does require that you have a Stripe account and that you get your Stripe account connected to one each. And if that's something that you're really thinking, ooh, I really do like this Stripe web form, as I scroll down, I'll show it to you. You are going to need to connect with your account manager on this to help get this process in place. So just stay tuned for that one. So look at this, check this out. Okay, what if my donate was a web form? And as a web form, if you've been using these in Drupal 8 and 9, you can embed it on any page, right? Here's my options that I kind of like. First off, the 3% or whatever you decide to charge as a processing fee. Stripe is 2.2% plus 30 cents. So a lot of nonprofits have said, let's just go with a flat 3%, it's close. Do you ask them? Do you want to pay for the 3% or do you just tell them? My rule of thumb is, if it was mine, and I'm a former United Way director for those of you who don't know, I would just tell them 3% charge, 3% processing fee. That's a very common thing in today's world. And I don't know, I think asking them just creates, it's a personal opinion on mine. You can do whichever works for you. If you decide, hey, no, I'm going to ask them if they want to cover the processing fee, then that's fine. Or you can say, we're not going to charge the processing fee, we'll take it out of our amount. Those are decisions that you get to make in this process. So here's something that people really love. One time. Okay, here's a one-time amount and an other. Fine. Recurring monthly. So, and Bob asked this at the beginning. He goes, I wasn't sure that the recurring really worked real well on the Stripe web forms. There is a little bit to know about any of our recurring options. These actually have to be created in Stripe as individual products, like products. So I happen to know that $5 at the 3% is $5.15 a month. You would actually change this to $5.15 a month if you were to do that, or you leave it at the flat amount and you don't worry about the fees. That's your call to make. But what I cannot do in this scenario is I can't ask them, how much would you like to give monthly? And they can go $7.50. That's not an option with it in the Stripe web form process. But as long as you decide what you think are good amounts, then we can build those out as products in your Stripe platform and it can automatically set up to go. Same with the recurring, a quarterly recurring. Figure out what amounts you want to offer quarterly, and it won't be an open-ended one. Then they just literally add their card in here and go through the process, right? So this is kind of the newest, latest, and greatest, in my opinion, that we have coming up with using the web form tool. And it is one that we can help you get added to your site if you like it. You would probably continue on with this if you want to offer any kind of questions like designations or anonymous or how you want your name. So this can keep going. This is the basics. All right, I saw a lot of activity going on the question board. Jordan, let me just stop and ask. Was there anything that we should address from that? You're muted.
I think,
there you go.
I think I've got all the questions answered. I'm working on one more with Patty for PayPal on needing to create an account in order to donate. I'm not sure if you know that off the top of your head or not.
Well, PayPal does not require you to create an account. You are correct. They don't require it. The problem is the screen that comes up visually to a donor who doesn't know better. When they get a PayPal screen pop up on their screen, it always leads in with login, right? And then below it, it says, or just enter your credit card. It's enough of a deterrent that people who aren't savvy enough to realize I don't have to create an account abandon before they realize I don't have to create an account. You're right, they don't have to, but the abandonment rate on PayPal is much higher than on a tool that say lands right on your website. We know this statistically to be very true. So yeah, there's that. And for those of you that, as the questions are getting answered, you should be able to see them on your screen. So if you type in a question and either Jordan and I respond in and type in the answer once we post that out there, you should be able to see those coming through on the screen so you can see what the conversation activities are. All right, what was that? Was there another question there, Jordan?
It looked like from Carrie, can you repeat the answer? You can't input own amount for one-time donations in Stripe web form.
Oh, let me clarify that. You can. For one time, it works fine. For one time, you can pick whatever amount and you can enter $7.50. For one time, yes, Stripe, that works. The recurring, however, because it has to go into subscriptions in your Stripe account as a recurring amount, you have to preset what the recurring options are. One time's a one-time transaction, so it can be whatever amount people want. They can go ahead and enter an open amount. Recurring, they cannot. In this tool here, on in CiviCRM, I believe they can, but not in the way this is configured through the Stripe web form tool that we get. Okay, all right, I'm gonna move on and you can jump in with more questions if you got them there. All right, so let's talk about how are you presenting this. End of the year, November, December timeframe is by far, they say like 80% of online donations happen in the last couple months of the year, right? We know this. We got Giving Tuesdays, pretty big in a lot of areas. And you also have just end of the year tax giving. So I thought this was a great example. I had this conversation with United Way of Passaic the other day. I was meeting with them and they said, look, our donations are down this year. We've got to pull out all the stops. We want to do everything we can to promote giving to us. So what we did is we went ahead and stopped the rotor. How do I stop the rotor? You only have one. They have one rotor. They, in fact, use the scheduler. And on January 1st or 2nd, this one's going to drop off and their old rotors are going to go back into play. And we made a graphic that they thought was good and that will be strong on mobile. I'm going to do a little talk about mobile. Make sure when you're testing your transaction, George said, go test, make sure it works. Don't just test it on your PC. Test it from your phone, test it from a tablet. You should be testing it, especially this time of year. You got to go test it everywhere. Test it in a couple different browsers. Have other people test it. Just make sure nothing glitches and goes weird. And you might be like, why would something go wrong? Well, technology, you have over 200 plugins in your website. They're getting updated all the time. There's just a little bug that can cause something to do something weird, something here. And we don't know about it a lot of times until our customers tell us. I mean, a lot of times actually we know that before you tell us. But some of the really weird fine minutia is just discoverable by doing random tests. Okay, so I thought this was a cool rotor. What they also had us do is the words here on this particular theme. This is usually 40 pixels tall. They asked us to make the font bigger. So we increased the donate to the United Way of Passaic County to 60 pixels. Hey, we can do that. If you decide you need something to stand out bigger, like that rotor text, you can put in a ticket and our team can enlarge that text for you. That is something we could do. So let's look at this one on a phone though. And don't forget that in our mobile responsive world, the right and left drop off, right? So we still have the silhouette of the hand with the heart behind it and the words are just right at you on mobile. And then this goes to their donation page, which is a third-party tool, which is fine. Okay. But I thought it was a neat idea. Make sure that at this time of year, when if that's what people are coming to your website for, that it's easy to find. And one idea, especially towards the end of the year, is consider stopping your rotor and just featuring it. That's a thought. You should have your button handy somewhere and somewhere visible. Let me show you another thing that I thought was kind of interesting. So this is the United Way Worldwide theme. And they got their donate button up here, right? That's fine, that looks good. And when I go to it on a mobile, the buttons are right here. Make sure your donate shows clearly on your mobile device. That is something that the team can adjust if like you don't see where it's landing on that. So one of the interesting things that they had happen recently, it's campaign season. And for those of you who are United Ways on the call, there's a bunch of you. They're doing campaign pages. So this is Kenosha Unified School District. It's their own special page with their pledge card on it, right? Well, all of a sudden she's like, I'm having a real hard time because people keep clicking the donate button up at the top. Remember that donate and volunteer that's right here? So guess what? We hit it. And then we didn't realize that it didn't automatically hide it from mobile. So we had the team go and also hide it from mobile so that if anyone's on the mobile view. So for those of you who have that theme, or if you ever have the need to, because you're featuring something else, something like this, and it had to be both buttons. You can't just hide the donate. It had to be that little section. Can actually be hidden from view on certain pages if you've got a form on the page that you're wanting them to use that instead. So I just wanted to point that out because that's come up a few times and I think that's going to be a helpful thing to know about. Okay, so now what I'd like to do is I would like to go ahead and add a rotor to the site just to do a quick little friendly rotor reminder for those of you. And if you haven't seen, I don't think you guys have seen them yet. You probably heard when we sent out the blast about this webinar that we're giving you 5 free rotors. So I'm going to use one of them in the sample. And we are going to be sending those rotors out to you at the end of the webinar with your follow-up stuff. I believe that'll come out tomorrow. So let me just do a quick login. My apologies on that. Oh, it just doesn't even know who I am. There we go. So I log in as an admin, just like you would log in as an admin to your website. Should look fairly similar. It doesn't matter what theme you have. This particular theme happens to be called Papago. And Jen, just as that friendly reminder, you're going to do content, add content, front page rotor. That's how I add a new one in. So I will click on that. We will, you know, maybe we want to capitalize it. I'm going to just adjust the setting real quick. You can customize your URLs. Since donate is the big URL that I'm using on my page, I actually am going to call this one donate rotor because I don't want to pull away from the donate. I forgot to mention this detail, so this reminded me. URLs. Every single one of you, when you go to your website, should be able to do /donate at the end of your domain, and it should be taking you to a donation page. Usually it's taking you to the actual one that you're giving money on. Sometimes it's taking you to a landing page with donation options. That's fine. Donate versus give versus contribute. What word should I use? That sort of thing. Yeah, it is donate. Donate is the word that researchers have said philanthropists, when they're going to give money, they're Googling and looking on the word donate. There was a big conversation about that because like United Ways went give, advocate, volunteer, and then there was some pushback because give isn't as strong of a word or as sought after of a word as donate. So I encourage all of you to make sure that your URL /donate, and if it's not doing it, that you have that set up to go to your main landing page or donation page. Okay, let me go ahead and have my rotor. Sorry, I sidebarred. I do that, it happens. Lots of questions going again. Oh, here's our 5 free images that we're going to be sending out to you. I know they're super small, so you can't see them, so I'm just going to grab one of them. In our platform, it should tell you what size your rotor should be, 2000 by 700. Guess what? This is not 2000 by 700. Actually, much less larger than that. The crosshairs that come with the image, you can mark where you want center to be. I did darken the image a little bit so that my words will pop nicely. I always like to do that. And where's it going to go? Well, guess what? It's going to go to /donate because that's where it should go to. Wait, is it the first rotor, the second rotor, the third rotor, the fourth rotor? I don't know what I numbered my rotors before, and I want this to be first, so I'm going to put a negative number in front of it. -5 should be first unless I already have a -5, which could happen. This does allow, this particular rotor allows for a little text on it. Most of them don't. Support our community. It just depends on your theme. They're all a little different, whether or not they have additional text area or not. So let's go take a look at it. Oh, I always have to do this. You have to hit it once and then hit it again. There you go. So nice. And if I wanted to stop my rotors and say, I just want the one, I don't want them all going, then I would click on the word content. And I would filter for my front page rotor images. And let's go ahead and unpublish these other ones temporarily. And I can just do the unpublished. Actually, I want to show you the scheduler. So let's do it from the scheduler. I will go ahead and unpublish this one. There's a couple ways to unpublish. You could do what I just did, which was check the boxes and hit the unpublish, or you can go to the page itself and hit unpublish. And then you would schedule it to republish. And I did not realize this doesn't have a scheduler on it. You will have an option here for scheduler, and you can schedule your rotors to publish and unpublish. We will get that fixed on our demo site. My apologies on that sample there. But I am going to still unpublish this one, and I will unpublish the other one. But if you don't have a scheduler tool, put in a ticket and request that the scheduler tool get added. Around the holidays, I just went and did a site with someone, and we scheduled Thanksgiving images, Giving Tuesday images, holiday images, Happy New Year images to come up and down through that whole season. So you don't have to sit there and wait on it and figure out, when am I going to schedule or unschedule? That one's unpublished. We're going to unpublish this one. And now my rotor is going to stop rotating. You don't have to do that. I'm just giving you an example of something that maybe you might consider doing during the season if that works for you. Now, in this case, having a similar one, like this says read more by default. You could put in a ticket and ask that to be changed to donate. It does change on all your rotors, so you would have to change it back when you launch them back out again, but just something to think about. All right, I'm pausing. How's our questions doing?
We've got a few in there. I'm trying to get some answers out as quickly as I can. But we've got about, looks like 6 open questions still.
Okay.
Kimberly asked, can you change the timing on the rotors? Ours seems slow.
Yours seems slow. Yes, but you can't, we can. So you can submit a support ticket and ask our team to speed up rotors if you would like them to go a little faster or slow them down. Sometimes folks want them slower. Here's the thing on rotors. For the most part, people don't sit and watch your rotors, right? So yeah, you might want to speed them up a little bit. Most people don't have a bandwidth for more than 2 to 3 rotors. Typical rotor time is every 4 seconds. So, and I believe that's our default. I'm pretty sure if yours seems to be slower than that, make sure it's not your computer or your browser, but we can adjust that to faster if you need it faster. Okay, so I have another poll question. Since the last one went so well, let me try another poll question. I'm going to go ahead and launch that, I think. There we go. And relaunch. Is it going to let me do it? Hold on. There we go. Should be about Giving Tuesday. I'm just curious how many of you actively participate in Giving Tuesday. From what I've seen in talking to a lot of customers, it seems like it's dropped off. Some got really excited about it for a while and it was going well in their communities. Others do an alternative Giving Tuesday in their own towns based on a different date. So just curious to know. And this, when I'm talking about Giving Tuesday, I'm honestly specifically talking about the Giving Tuesday considered the Tuesday after Thanksgiving. That's coming up here pretty soon. Well, there you go. See, now I'm going to tell how many people are paying attention. Not as many people are answering to the last question. Oh, it picked up. They're like, what? There's a poll? Let me look at my screen. All right, I'll go ahead and end it. I must have bored some people. I'm sorry. Okay, pretty even split, folks. 50-50 of you are using Giving Tuesday and aren't using Giving Tuesday. My 2 cents on that is this. Unless you've seen a really great insurgence from it, I would acknowledge it and maybe feature it and have it out there, but I might not spend an exuberant amount of time on it. But be prepared because your local media is going to promote it. So you do want to acknowledge it and you do want to have some reference to it on your site. It doesn't hurt to go to Giving, I think it's givingtuesday.org, and registering your organization in that list. You never know when this philanthropist out there who has a lot of money just decides to go hit up your community and find anyone in your community and give to. Things like that happen. So I wouldn't ignore it, but I might not put a lot of weight into it. But just think that through. I did want to show you one Giving Tuesday example that I saw one of my customers did that I just thought was cute. This is called Giving Tuesday Shoes Day. And this was their page from last year. I don't know if they're updating it again, but they made it very specific. And we do know, and that's part of like when we talk mindful giving at our next webinar, having a specific cause and thing that you're raising money and doing for is very interesting, especially to our younger donors. They don't want to just give to impact or give to the cause. They want to give to something. So this was, I just thought this was clever. Giving Tuesday Shoes Day, and it's a donation page and you basically buy shoes. And they have earmarked it specifically towards their shoe campaign. And that's just how they decided to do it. So just an idea sharing with you. I always love seeing, we work with over 700 nonprofits. We get great ideas from you guys. They didn't know I was sharing this, so it's always cool to share out what other folks are doing. Yes, I will show you the holiday images. I saw that pop up. I'm about to share those. Let's see here. I think I'm ready to go back to my slides. Okay, before I get to those holiday images, I am going to go ahead and let's relaunch the slideshow. Talk about texting. So texting is definitely a thing that is also another way of reaching folks, end of year giving, or just giving in general. And there have been changes in the texting industry. Wish I had a poll on how many of you are texting, but here's things that I've seen. Texting, if you have a good bucket of mobile numbers and you can load them in a texting platform and send something out, that's great. If you don't, and you're just trying to like, here, text this to this number to give, that world has gotten a little muckier than it used to be. We previously, one each had a shared short code, which was the number 313131. Well, the industry eliminated that. All shared short codes around the globe. You can't have multiple people using the same short code. So short code's the number, like a 6-digit number, that's called a short code. And you have to pay for your own if you want to have a cute short number. And those are thousands of dollars a year. So what's free is the 10-digit number. So a 10-digit number can be used for texting, but 10-digit numbers aren't as cute as 313131, right? So you want to think about that. You can get a random number, you can use your office number, you can get an 866 number, but that's what I'm saying. If you have a bucket of cell phones already and you put them into a system and it texts out from your office number, that's fine. That's not a big deal. People aren't going to care that's not from a short code. It's when you're asking someone to use a keyword and text in that's a little bit more awkward. I will offer up the opportunity for anyone who's interested to try out this texting option. This number right here, 602-334-4701, is the office number for One Each Technologies. It is a landline. We have activated it for texting. That can be done, which is also kind of a cool thing. You can grab your cell phone and start a text message and send it to our landline number and type in the word sample, which is called a keyword. Keywords, capitalizations don't matter on keywords, so all lowercase, all upper and lower. Usually your phone will capitalize the S. When you send that, you will get a link back that'll actually go to that donate page, that Stripe donate page I featured earlier. So it will pop on your phone. You can see what it looks like on a phone. If you are interested in utilizing texting, please reach out to your account manager. We can help you with this. I will say that I think what I've seen be a bigger deal are QR codes. Using a QR code with your URL to your donate versus having people text in. If you're able to put QR codes out in front of people and they just scan it with their phone and it goes straight to your donation page, that's easier than having them text. There's a lot of free QR code generators out there, so you can just Google QR code generator and you can find one to create those.
Allison, I'm going to jump in here as well. Christina, another account manager with our team, just put in the chat that if you are not seeing all of the QA questions, there should be a tab at the top that shows all questions versus just my questions. So if you are able to see that all questions, make sure you're selected on that tab. You should be able to see all the Q&A questions coming in.
Okay, great. And I don't know if anyone went out there and tried the text feature, but you can test that out. And it does work. It is pretty economical to utilize texting. It's not overly expensive. It can get more expensive based on the volume of text that you would want and would use. But I'm really seeing QR codes kind of being a greater feature if you're able to have things with the codes that folks can scan versus the texting platform. But if you have cell phone numbers and can mass message out, this is a great way to go as well. And most of you, if you're collecting any kind of data on people, you should be asking for mobile numbers, and you should include a permission to text question. That is a great idea. All right. Let's see. Here's your images. Thank you for joining us today. We're not done yet, but for attending this webinar, you get 5 free images that we will send out to you. We have a Thanksgiving one, little snowman. We got some snow, got just a backgroundy image here, and then New Year loading with the candy cane, like it's gonna load a new year in. So it's kind of a happy new year going, transitioning through the holiday season. Hopefully those work for you. Do know we have an image gallery subscription tool if you are interested in that. There are lots of images out there that you can choose from, and that's only a $100 a year subscription thing. But we'll give these to you for free. We'll be sending them out shortly for you to have. All right. Well, we are starting to wind down. This has gone by quick. Oh, last 10 minutes. Good job, Miss Jordan. So we're going to go through some final details here and wrap up question and answer as we get going. But let's just point out a few things. Support ticket. Hopefully you guys all have this bookmarked. You should know that when you're logged into your site, there's a link that says OE support that does open the support site. But if your site's down, then you can't click that link. Do make sure you bookmarked support.oneeach.com. That is our support system. I recommend, if you don't already have /donate, redirecting to your donation page, especially if it's a Civi CRM page and it's one of those really long, crazy URLs. Go ahead and submit a ticket. If it's just a typical page, you can probably set your URL yourself to be /donate. Texting, this is the link to the texting platform, app.oneeach.com, app.oneeach.com. You can go check it out. You can actually set up a free account and do 10 free practice tests, text yourself. And then here's our meeting links. We've got myself and Jordan. Christina chatted in a second ago. And Chrissy is an account manager with us as well. So we are your 4 account managers from One Each. We all have dedicated meeting links by going to our URLs and booking meetings with us as needed. Do meet with your account manager regularly. This is a great time to do it as we lead into the holiday season. Our upcoming webinars, we're excited. This next one in November, we have a special guest. Juan from Amazon Business is going to be joining us to share he is the dedicated rep for Amazon Business for a number of nonprofits across the nation. I know he works specifically with United Ways and some other nonprofits as well. So he's going to come and talk to you about how to connect to their resources. I've heard him speak before. You guys, there is some cool stuff you can do there that will save you money for your organization. Like who knew all this was available? If you ever go online and purchase through Amazon for your business, you really want to be on this call because he will set you up with a lot of discounts and cool things that are out there. And we'll also be talking about the mindful giving platforms. That is coming up on the 17th. Oh, I didn't put the time down for the one on the 15th. And then the 15th, we're going to be featuring all the things to get ready for 2023, making the most out of your website, New Year's resolution, right? But Jordan and I actually, we're talking about it this morning. We had a lot of great ideas on things that just to kick off the year really strong for our customers. Okay. And I know you still have some questions on the board, so go ahead, Ms. Jordan.
Yes. Okay, let's start. A lot of them were still having some trouble seeing the Q&A, so I do apologize if you were not able to see all those questions. We are working out some kinks here on our end. It seems like some are and some aren't. Do we have any?
Yeah, go ahead.
Do we have any free QR code apps or websites that we recommend? Do you have one, Allison?
No, not really. I just Google it every single time I want to use one, and I find one that's free that's not going to cause me to download something or whatever. So I just Google QR code generator is usually what I look for. Free QR code generator. There's a bunch of them out there. And I'm looking at the questions too now as well. I did see a question specifically about the Amazon person is one. I'm trying to think of his last name. There's two of them that work, I know, with United Ways, but they'll be on the call. And if you want to just reach out to me directly, I can get that name for you. It's just not clicking off the top of my head. Oh, lots of comments about Canva Pro. Canva and Canva Pro has a QR code generator. So all the QR code is, just so you guys realize it, like you can use 100 different QR code generators and it's going to give you the exact same code. It doesn't matter which one you use. That might have a picture in it, it might put a border around it, might do something with it. But a QR code is simply a digital imprint of the URL that you give it, right? So it's like hieroglyphic writing of your URL in a box with little dashes and lines in the data format. They're all the same, regardless of what tool you use. It generates, it's a language translator. It's translating it into language QR code. Yeah. There is such a thing. So they all look the same. So there's a bunch that do it. Yeah.
Yeah. It looks like Missy also shared that bit.ly.com will also shorten your URLs and create QR codes. And Christina shared that QR code monkey is free and also easy to use if you're looking for some ideas out there.
Yeah, there you go. And if you don't know who your account manager is, because I saw one of those messages out there, go ahead and let us know in this chat that you're unsure who your account manager is. I don't have all of our accounts memorized on who has which one. I have about 300, so I wish I could say I knew exactly which ones were mine, but not 100%. A lot of them, the ones I talk to a lot. But we will get back to you and make sure your account manager is in contact with you. I know there's staff turnover, and we like to know when there's staff turnover, you know, who's there now. You guys signed up because you got one of our messages that got sent out. If you know someone else who should be getting those messages from us or should be removed from the messages from us, please let us know. We can update our system as well. We really want to be in communication with our accounts. We want you guys to hear from us on a regular basis and know that we're here to support you. You are not out there doing your website on your own. You have an entire team behind you, from our support team to your account management team. And we really, really, really appreciate you joining us on the webinar today. Great turnout, great questions. I know we're down to the last few minutes. Jordan, I'm going to hand it off to you to wrap up if there's any other questions you want to do. If your question wasn't addressed, we'll make sure we reach out to you directly too. Go ahead, Jordan.
Yeah, that was what I was going to say as well. Is I'm trying to get all those questions answered, but the great thing about Zoom webinar for us is that it will save all of these questions. So if we did not get an answer to you today, we will reach out and make sure that you're getting those answers. But again, just wanted to thank everybody so much for joining today. Book some time with your account manager. We'd love to take a look and strategize some donation pages with you and really make sure we've got some fun, creative pages out there to have a successful giving time this season. So thanks again, everyone, for joining. And we're looking forward to some meetings being booked soon so we can get to work.
All right, so we will send out this recording. We thank you all very much. Have a great day.
Yeah, thanks, everybody.
Thank you.